viewers, real and imaginary. I'm Kelby.
I'm Lola.
I'm Emma, and together we three are the NerdStreet Hoodlums.
The notorious lady nerd gang, here to give you unadulterated opinions on all things lady and nerd culture.
We're going to kick things off with a little segment we like to call This Week in Nerd History, which is exactly what it sounds like. On February 21st, 1986, which is today, but 28 years ago, I would like to say I had to do some math to figure out the 28 part, but I was born in 1986. The original Legend of Zelda was released as a launch title for the Famicom Disk System, and thus was unleashed upon the world arguably the most famous female video game title character of all time, Princess Zelda. Now, while you only see her in this game for about 20 seconds at the very end after you rescue her from Ganon, this little 8-bit princess would pave the way for the cross-dressing, light arrow-flinging Princess Zeldas of the future. Though I would still argue that none of her in-game incarnations have been quite as badass as her 1989 animated television series counterpart. Seriously guys, on that show she's the hero and Link is basically her dumb sidekick.
Well, excuse me, princess.
And for your nerd nowstery, today is Touchstone Pictures' release of the Oscar-nominated film The Wind Rises. It's directed by Hayao Miyazaki, and it's about the life and times of Jiro Horikoshi, who designed World War II fighter planes for Japan. Now, while Horikoshi is an actual dude who designed actual planes, it's also based on a fictional novel called The Wind Has Risen, which is about a woman in a tuberculosis sanatorium. Miyazaki's known for writing some badass ladies, so we're going to talk about those badass ladies for the remainder of our episode. But before we do,
this week we're going to be talking about what I like to call the comic shop freeze out. Have you ever walked into a party and realized everyone was talking about you the minute before you walked in? It's kind of what it feels like for a lot of girls walking into a comic shop for the first time. There's a lot of really good Marvel movies coming out right now, and unfortunately the girls who fall in love with the characters tend to be labeled fake geek girls. If you're a fan of Thor because you like the film, and you're a fan of Thor because you've read every trade ever, you're both Thor fans. Deal with it. If the only people who are allowed in your comic book store are the people who look and act like you're missing out on a huge opportunity, because there was someone right there who you could have shown this whole new world to and all these amazing characters, and you chickened out like an idiot. Anything that I could say has actually already been covered in an amazing comic recently. We're going to put the link down below. Feel free to check it out. It's by Noelle Stevenson, the writer of the webcomic Nimona, and the upcoming title Lumberjanes, all about the issues of being a woman in the comic industry and being a woman in the comic book world. For those of you who are not sure where to go to find a new comic shop, or you've been treated like a jerk at an old one, just go to hatersfreewednesday.tumblr.com and find a list of safe and newbie-friendly comic book stores in your area. So what are we doing?
We're talking about Miyazaki.
Right.
That's what we said we were going to do on this episode.
Miyazaki ladies in particular.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
Here, you probably deserve this more than I do.
I think that an important question to start off with is your very first Miyazaki film.
Mine was Kiki's Delivery Service, because when they first released that in North America, they advertised it at the beginning of like all the Disney films on VHS, and even on, I think even DVD at that point. And also, the voice of Kiki was Kirsten Dunst.
Right.
And I really loved her.
Yeah. Mine was also Kiki's Delivery Service, and it was because they were advertising it in front of Disney movies.
Mine was actually Spirited Away. And for someone who had never actually seen...
How old were you?
Oh my god, I was in my early 20s.
Okay.
Oh wow.
Hashtag old. For someone who had never seen anything with the Japanese style, I was legitimately traumatized when I was like, No Face, I really love No Face. I like this guy. And then he devoured people whole, and I went, oh my god, the Japanese are insane. Yeah. Even the ending, because I was so unfamiliar with like the style, and I'm so used to like Western cinema where it's like, everything's great forever, the end. And it's the end where they come out and spoilers if you don't.
There are spoilers in this segment.
Yeah, there's gonna be lots.
If you're from a time machine and whatever. When they step back out, and there's just like leaves and stuff all over their car, and I went, oh my god! And I said to the person outside, I went, everybody's gonna think they're dead!
No, it's funny that you mention Western cinema, though, because that is a big thing that Miyazaki really deviates from, especially considering that his medium is animation. So, you know, typically in animation, in Western animation, the lines of like good and evil and black and white are very, very clear.
Yes.
There's not a lot of room for interpretation.
Right. This is the bad guy. And
exactly.
This is the hero.
And one of the things that we see a lot in Miyazaki's films is kind of, you know, ambiguous bad guys. Like bad guys who are the bad guys, but have redeeming qualities. Prime example, Lady Eboshi in Princess Mononoke, who, yes, she is the bad guy and she is destroying nature, so she is in conflict with Ashitaka, who's all about preserving nature and like renewing the happiness and love of the ancient animal spirits. Right. And Lady Eboshi, yes, she is trying to destroy all of that and industrialize everything. However, you also see that she is tremendously caring, particularly to like sort of minority characters who the rest of society shuns. You know, she's very kind to these lepers and also former prostitutes.
Right, she hires all the former brothel girls and is like, hey, I have a better job for you.
Which also illustrates another theme that we see in Miyazaki very, very often, which is feminism. The women are the ones who are running the town. Without them, Irontown doesn't exist.
They're all super diverse types of women too.
Yeah.
Because you have Lady Eboshi, who's like this very strong, independent business lady, but then you have all the brothel girls who are very they're kind of silly and giggly and they make a lot of jokes. How you doing?
That's my impression of a brothel girl.
But then there's also Chihiro from Spirited Away, who starts off really whiny and really, you know, kind of weak in a way. And then like she just grows through that, but she doesn't become like this super physical, I'm gonna kick everybody's ass sort of girl. She's just very much like I'm going to start paying attention to what's around me more. I'm going to start caring about other people.
Exactly. She goes from being very selfish and just self-centered in general to going, oh, there's this whole world around me and it's not all about me. Right. You know, we see that also a little bit with Sophie in Howl's Moving Castle, where basically she breaks the curse that's on her herself simply by gaining confidence in herself.
Yes.
And the thing that I love about Howl's Moving Castle is that in order for Sophie to gain confidence in herself, she ends up having to lose all of her typically feminine qualities. Right. And it's once Sophie becomes an old lady and doesn't give a fuck about whether or not she's beautiful that she begins to gain this confidence in herself, which is ultimately what breaks the curse. Yeah. At the end of the movie, she's finally able to look at herself and go, I am beautiful. Right. And it really has nothing to do with her physical appearance. It has to do with her strength of character and basically her ability to get shit done.
It's all about self-love and not love of the hero, which is usually a Western way of...
Well, and as soon as she becomes an old lady, instead of what you would expect of like, oh, I'm hideous, I have to hide my... She just goes, fuck it. Hey, magician, I'm gonna take over your house. Because I'm old and it's your fault. Therefore, I live here now.
I'm a fan.
I'm a huge fan.
I'm a fan of all.
I'm gonna raise this soot spirit to Miyazaki.
To Miyazaki. You are the best, and you have shaped our childhoods more than we could even begin to express.
And you scarred my adulthood as well.
And that's it, guys. That's all for the first episode of the NerdStreet Hoodlums. Be sure to tune in next week for more opinionated, geeky girl goodness. Like our video if you liked it. Subscribe to our channel so we look popular. Also, be sure to follow us on Twitter at NerdStreet. And if you search for the NerdStreet Hoodlums on Tumblr, on Instagram, and Facebook, we're on all those things so you can totally get your social media on with us.
And though that does conclude the main portion of our episode, we will be bringing you bonus footage. Who doesn't like some good bonus footage? This week's bonus footage is a segment that we like to call Confessions of a Nerd Girl, where we will be answering your questions and telling deep, dark secrets about our fandoms. And I'm not saying that we may have been drinking, but we may have been drinking.
If you have any questions for us for future episodes, feel free to drop them right down there in the comment box, and we will see you next week.
Oh my god, I have this, guys.
You go first.
Okay, listen. My weapon of choice for the zombie apocalypse is gonna be a fucking big mag light flashlight. And you know why? Because you can turn it on, you can fucking see in the dark if you have to ever escape in the nighttime, and it doubles as a bludgeoning weapon.
So I'm not gonna go into full details of my zombie survival plan because it's just too much, but I will tell you the pivotal step of my plan. It's gonna sound super mean, but I don't even care because I figured this out back in college that as soon as the zombie apocalypse goes down, I have to kill my former roommate. I used to watch him play Left 4 Dead all the time because it made me too nervous to play it by myself. So I would watch him play it. He would, even when he was playing online with other people, if he would either like lure them to be bait somewhere so he could get away, or if it was between him saving his teammate and getting on the helicopter, he's like, fuck that guy, and he would leave. And anytime we'd watch a zombie movie, he would be like, I'd get bitten, I wouldn't even tell any of you. And so I knew immediately that if it ever really happened,
you gotta kill that guy.
Double tap. Don't even wait.
Fuck that guy.
Yeah, like I love you. You'd have to go down. I'm sorry.
See, I don't actually have a survival plan because I realized
she's planning on dying.
I realized a long time ago. I was a Girl Scout for many years. My instinct is to be very helpful. So I would not survive long enough to realize what zombies were, because the first time someone fell down and everyone went, no, that guy's gone crazy, I'd go, how is no one helping this man?
God.
And I would reach down and I would say, sir, are you okay? Do you need me to call? And then he would bite me and I would go, shit.
Oh, there you go. That's gold. You're welcome. Cheers.
I'm drinking through a straw from this beer so I don't mess up my lipstick.